So you definitely know you dropped the ball when you let the Mortal Kombat from 1995 story plot outdo yours. Fucking up. Welcome back to my channel. It's Tyra here with another struggle review, here to discuss Mortal Kombat. You can't just like say Mortal Kombat without it. You gotta, it just goes together. But no, not the old Mortal Kombat, no, the new 2021 Mortal Kombat that we were all waiting for. I'm not gonna say all, but I know me personally, who had the game, anybody who was doing that and choosing their character, we were waiting on this. Before I get into what I thought about this movie, what I think was going on, what I did like about the movie, and what just was not happening, I need you guys to drop down and subscribe to my channel and like this video. I'm going to give you guys a moment to do that, and then we're going to come back and discuss all things, you know, trying to pull us in with that good opening scene. I was like, oh, it's about to be good. And then they snatched that shit back. They snatched it back. Have hopefully subscribed to see more of me. Let's get into this movie review. It's not a rant. It's not a rant. Everything wasn't bad here. Just the things that really needed to be good weren't. Getting into the movie, like, I was so happy here just to get a brand new film that was R-rated. Like, if you know the game, you know you pop, you kicking in so much blood, and you pulling out the spine. It's, it's quite a violent game. So when we got the 1995 version and the 1997 horrible Annihilation version, these were PG-13. So, we can only go so far with that. But I was like, oh, we got an R rating. And then we got that trailer. It looked good. I was like, I'm here for this. I was excited. And I should have known, like, as soon as it came on and they didn't hit us with that, they didn't give us the music. They didn't give us the music. Cool. Y'all don't want to give us the music, get us all hyped? Because, as soon as that 1995 Mortal Kombat, you already hyped. But they didn't do that here, It's 2021. Y'all could be different. But I should have known it was set up as soon as it came on. And they didn't even give us 5 seconds to get invested into Scorpion's family. We saw them, it's a little bit of a connection, and boom, we're instantly into fighting. Now, I wasn't mad at that. Once we actually got into Scorpion and Sub-Zero showing up and us realizing, because, it took long enough for y'all to even tell us who these people are. I'm so glad that we know their powers, because if we were waiting, through script and dialogue to just really find out who these people were, we would have missed it. But aside from, the plot of them, killing the family, being a little rushed, that fight scene was so epic and such a great way to start off a movie. Like, oh my goodness, I was all into it. He's coming and there's the knife and the rope, and it was everything. And then we get into him and Sub-Zero. Like, you couldn't tell me that based off of that fight scene, that this was not finna just be an epic 2-hour ride. Now, of course, we get into, the family being killed. So there's, the rage and the vengeance there. But of course, we know that the baby is still alive. The baby girl is still alive. We have Sub-Zero disappear, and we have Scorpion die. And then we have Raiden, bomb-ass Raiden entrance, zoom down and take that baby. Mortal Kombat. I was like, whoo, I'm ready. I wasn't ready. So now we just left this epic fight scene. You know, we have all this bloodshed. We're getting all that, you know, R rating that we want. We're getting like into the graphics. Everything looks so good. Every character looked like they were supposed to look. There was not one character. Well, no, we're going to get into that one. You know, but everybody looked on point. The film looked so good. The graphics, nothing looked cheap. I was like, okay. And then we leave the fight and we get into a character we don't know and we do not care about. And it was like, oh, but okay. You guys want to go and introduce a new character that has nothing to really do with the franchise. My focus was on, hell, after that scene, I was like, you know, where's the baby? Is this character the baby? Like, no, it's not the baby because, you know, too much time had passed and it was a baby girl. That's not the baby. Cool. We spend all of 1 second to even tell us who Cole is. We realize that he is whatever fighter cage, that dude. He's a fighter. We are known that. And, you know, we see the little girl and the woman, and I don't see him fight. I'm like, who are these people? For a minute, I thought it was his little sister. I was like, because, you know, he didn't look that old. I was just trying to follow along. But, boom, we're introduced into Jax. And I'm like, and, of course, we know it's Jax tall. We didn't know it was Jax. But I'm like, it's a tall, black dude with his little tags on. Yeah, that's Jax. I was like, it was at that point I got really disappointed in just the writing altogether. It didn't take me but a second to realize we had the graphics down, the looks down, the effects. Y'all gonna bypass this movie people have been waiting on with a bad script, with bad writing, a bad plot? Why? Everything else was there. Everything looks so perfect. Okay, you know what? Let's just get back into it. We get into him, you know, meeting Jackson, you know, hey, you know, show him your birthmark and, okay, cool. And then we get into him following him and we just get into Sub-Zero just showing up. And, you know, hey, we're going to go. Their goal is to go and kill, you know, anybody who could maybe participate in the tournament and try to win. Cool. But he just shows up and it starts snowing and it's like a whole standstill. Oh my God, it's snowing in July. Nobody's moving. And Jack comes along with his Terminator ass. Come with me if you want to live. Get them all in the car. And drives off. I'm like, and we use that little 2 seconds to go, oh, you know, it's your birthright. We're the chosen ones. And this, I know Sonya and, you got to protect your family and they're out to get us and out to kill us and go save your family. I'm going to stay and fight. We had spent all of 2 seconds with these characters. Where is the character development here? There was none. It was non-existent and it pissed me off. I was like, out of all places to drop the ball, you dropped it here? Something so simple as development, getting us invested in the characters. So when stuff does happen, we're invested with them. And most of all, we're following the plot and we know what the hell is going on. Why were y'all rushing? There was no reason to rush. Y'all had 2 hours. What were you rushing for? You can say a whole lot of things about the 1995 Mortal Kombat, but they kept it real simple. The plot was very simple. Childish simple. They followed, you know, the look of the game. Everything was all, you know, hammed and cheesed it up. But that damn plot was simple. The characters were interested. I was invested in the Sonya, in the Luke Cage, in the Johnny Cage. I was invested in all of that. So when we get here and you rush us through this, you introduce us to a new character and you rush us into even getting to know him and throw in Jax. It's just like, what y'all expect me to hold on to here? Y'all really just wanted me to hold on to the beginning, that fight scene? Because that's all I'm going off of here. Because everything here, I could care less about. Where's the baby? Who's the baby? He not the baby. As we get into, you know, Sub-Zero and Jax staying to fight, you know, I'm going to stay and I'm going to fight. I knew that was a whole setup. We going to leave Jax to fight Sub-Zero. Okay. I did like that scene. I knew that, you know, he wasn't going to win, but I did like that setup to be, you know, why he lost his arms and we get, you know, the animatronic robotic arms from Jack. I love that. When we get into the Sonya character, everybody, as far as acting wise, have been doing what they needed to do and giving what they needed to give so far, even though the plot was rushed and trashed. I wasn't the least bit interested in Cole and his daughter and his wife. All I knew was that they were going to be used as a plot device for him to, you know, finally man up and find his power, because he was so in denial about his birthright and his marking and all that other stuff. Cool. We get into Sonya. What was up with her acting? What was up with Homegirl's acting? You can't just throw any white chick with blonde hair and a little wife beater, muscle shirt, and say, hey, Sonya. All right, whatever. We get into him, you know, meeting Sonya and her throwing every plot situation. We're going to throw it all in this, you know, 5-minute span. This is what's going on. This is the history. This is where we go to fight. This is where the tournament is held. This is what will happen if we don't fight. Bam, 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 bam. Secret ops. And then once she just kind of let go of, you know, where Jax was, what was going on with Jax, and, you know, Jax sent me. Oh, okay, he's not answering his radio. How nonchalant they had Sonya concerning Jax, for whatever reason, bothered the hell out of me. If you follow the franchise or just, you know, are familiar with the characters, you know that that's there. If y'all were going to have that there, don't try to set it up to where they have a relationship at all. Because how nonchalant she was when Jax didn't just come back, it bothered me. I was like, girl, you ain't going to go look for him or nothing? But okay. Then we get into Kano being captured and sitting there. We get into, now first of all, they could have got, I don't know, little man. I'm going to say little man because he's not a little man, but old dude being Kano. I was just kind of like, I will say this. He added more to this story than Kano ever should have. Kano should never be a point of focus. Like, Kano was giving me something here out of everybody. Kano, him, you know, being, him, you know, fighting, you know, the reptilian and that whole thing. It was good. Looked good. And before we even got into the reptilian, we got in our first, you know, look at Cabal, you know, your soul is mine. We get our first look at him. And when I saw him and, you know, the wig of it all, you know, whatever, just him as a whole here, that sinisterness that I got off of old dude in the 1995, when you felt like he wanted them damn souls. Old dude here as the leader, I just was like, ugh. Once again, costuming great, looks great. The dialogue, the delivery, the plot. Then we get into everybody teaming up. We have this new character, Cole, teaming up with Sonya and fucking Kano. I was like, y'all really gonna make us sit through this plot with Kano, even though Kano was the only one giving me what I needed. Like, thank you for giving us something. You're going to make us sit through them teaming up. Anybody who is familiar with Mortal Kombat knows you cannot trust Kano. Kano is all about Kano. So we knew where that was going. But okay, we get on them, you know, traveling because for whatever reason, Kano is the only person who can get them, you know, to this temple that they need to go to practice. And they Sonya just left Jax. Just said, fuck Jax. Who? He all right. Let's go. All right. So first of all, by this time, I was already done with them trying to make Sonya seem so horrid. Sonya ain't never have nothing to prove. Sonya is not that, like, how many times we need to see her tussle with Kano or, you know, just the don't even get me into the dramatics of it all. Like when they did, each time they did slow motion in the movie, like Sonya flipping to stab the reptilian and it went into nothing. It was just so anticlimactic. I was like, what the It was so many scenes that I was just laughing. And I was like, what was all the extraness for if we wasn't going to really... I felt like, especially with this R rating, we could have went a whole lot further. But with what we did, once we get into them finally making it to the temple, because, you know, we had to get to the temple to get everybody else. We didn't really get... I was like, what the hell is Raiden? When are we going to put into play this baby? This baby girl? Where my man's? Where is who I came to see? Where is Liu Kang? Where are they? We have to get all the way to this temple just to see them. And we finally get to see dude Luke, your favorite fighter everybody was picking. We get into Luke, and he shows up, and he's the weirdest I was like, what? Why they got him acting like this? Why they have him talking like this? Like, granted, Luke, from the temple and the monks, and, they had him talking like the damn Oracle from the Matrix. And it was just so stiff and just uninviting and you can say what you want about the 1995 more. The characters were inviting. They were cool. I don't understand why they made him like this. What was that about? He looked great. It was giving a little bit of Dragon Ball Z, but he looked great. Why was the script written for him to talk? But at the same time, I was happy to get to the temple. I was like, maybe we'll get some more Raiden. Like, I love Raiden so much from that 1995 one. Like, the characters there were so cool. And they were cheesy as fuck, but they were cool and they were fun. We want to take a more serious tone here. Fine, do that. But make sure the plot and the story is good. It got to the point where it was boring. We get into, the temple, and we get into Raiden. Bless the man who was playing Raiden. He looked bum as fuck, but his acting was horrible. It was so bad. Then we get into not flashbacks. We go, back and forth between the crews and, Cabal and all. We going back and forth, and we get into seeing, is it Mylene? We get into her, like, black girl with the ponytail and the blood looked like why that choice? I understand, the whole teeth look. It's like they made everybody look appropriate except her. It just looked really cheap, and Homegirl was there and they had no lines. Homegirl didn't have no lines. I think she had one line. And we get into, adding, more characters from the Mortal Kombat franchise that, we're not familiar with. We're familiar with them, but, not on screen. And some of us not at all if we, stop playing the game at certain points. But they were just holding no weight and really had nothing to say. So once we got into the temple and we get into, them training, the main person who gave me what I needed was freaking Kung Lao. Kung Lao looked so on point and was acted so well, and that it was so good. I was like, oh, we need some more of him. Kung Lao was giving me everything. I thought he looked the best out of everyone. I loved it. I wanted some more of it. But we just spent so much time, talking, downplaying Sonya because she doesn't have, a mark. And, just with Cole trying to find himself and find his power. And we keep getting flashbacks to, I guess, him mentally envisioning Scorpion and him being a descendant and him burning in hell. It's like paper thin. But once we get into Kano and the plot twist of him not, him choosing himself and choosing to switch sides, we could have saw that coming a mile away. Everything else going around was just so thin and so uninteresting. And I just found myself longing to see Sub-Zero and Scorpion because those were the best thing that this movie had to offer. And I feel like they waited till, hell, we could have had a whole separate just franchise just with Sub-Zero and Scorpion and, their story and their arc. That could have carried a whole film, because this shit here gave me nothing. Don't even get us into, because Jack just appeared at the temple courtesy of Liu Kang because, he was tasked to find all the, the fighters, and I just happened to find him, hanging on by a thread. Child, when we got into Jax and them motherfucking baby, y'all ever, remember Terminator 2 when, when he, you know, removes his hand to show, you know, the guy like, I'm from the future, I'm actually a robot. That's what that arm was giving. I'm like, if y'all don't put them fucking baby arms up, what is that? What was that for? Don't even get me started into Jack's dialogue and the one-liners and yeah, these motherfuckers work. Do they? Oh, they do? Oh. But it's at that point that we get into the plot, really trying to, you know, kick off and, you know, we're unleashing, you know, Goro and I was happy with the way he looked. I think that's the thing with this film. I was pretty much happy with the way everything looked and the way everyone looked. But the plot was just so uninteresting and paper thin. Y'all didn't get us invested into any of these characters. They were just showing up. And when they showed up, they didn't have much to fucking say. The only person who really had a plot and a story arc was Kano. How? Oh my goodness. But okay, we get into, you know, Kano switching sides and, you know, them dropping the force field and, you know, Cabal and his, you know, crew, and it wouldn't give me what I needed. But to even, you know, push the plot along and to give Luke Kane some drive, because, you know, I was like, why Luke Kane keep getting beat up? Why he keep getting held up, smacked around? Well, what is that? Why? But to, you know, give him that extra push, we go and we kill Kung Lao, who had just gave us, you know, that epic, you know, with the hat and the blade and, you know, pushed homegirl on the blade and split her ass straight down the middle. I was here for all of that. I was like, yes. And then we coming out of all souls. You took that one? You took that one. Hell, you could have took Sonya. She wasn't acting. She wasn't giving me nothing. But I knew that her arc was going to be, you know, finding herself and trying to prove herself, because she didn't have a mark and she, you know, wasn't, you know, adding anything, and your life is, you know, worthless. You know, that one line they gave that one line they gave homegirl. Yeah. When we get into, you know, the Cole character having to leave and fight Goro and the family and to, you know, find when that armor, you know, appeared, everybody looked good. When he finally, you know, found his power and that armor appeared on his body, and every character looked on point. See, that's what happens when you try to introduce new people and you defer from, you know, the script. Because when his armor came, I was like, why does this look like a long sleeve shirt with print on it? Like, what? His look wasn't giving me what I needed. It wasn't. But, I mean, we get into, you know, the fight and him finding himself and going back and them going into the sunken place, wherever the fuck they went. And, you know, hey, we're going to catch him alone. We're going to divide him, and them teaming up. We couldn't team up with fucking Kung Lao. We couldn't do that. Okay. We get into, you know, Jax, you know, I want the big man, and him finding himself, you know, after he lift the rock off of Sonya, who was perfectly fine. And everybody going, you know, to redeem themselves in these, you know, epic fight battles, and, you know, him smashing dude's head. And I just was waiting. I was sitting there like, where's Scorpion? Where's Scorpion? Where's Sub-Zero? Where's somebody? Because it just ain't giving me nothing. How dare y'all bring on Raiden and have Raiden not give me nothing? Have Luke Cage not give me nothing? Have Kung Lao give me a little something and then snatch him back? How dare you? Don't do that. But we get into the ending of, you know, them coming together, and of course them taking that family, because that's it. I'm like, really? I would have like gave him an A if Sub-Zero would have took that shit all the way and murdered Cole's family, and that would have gave him, you know, all the motive he ever needed for, you know, part 2, because you know they come with a part 2. No, we just freeze them. Okay. So we freeze them, and we finally, out of nowhere, he just comes out of nowhere. Scorpion just comes from out of nowhere, and you freed me. Like, I don't give a damn how it happened. Just fight. We get into that fight, and it was so long and so drawn out, but I was here for it because it gave me something. It gave me something to look at, and it was the most interesting part. You let the beginning and the ending be the most interesting parts of your film, which left us with nothing in the middle. Nothing, absolutely nothing. But we get into, the fight and them going back and forth and the fan of it all. And, so good. It was so good. It was so good. I wish we could have got some more of that. I wish you guys would have took out the time to write in us giving 4 fucks about these characters. Because you didn't. The disrespect. How do we make characters like Luke, Jax, how do we make them boring and uninteresting? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I expected more from this movie after waiting for so long. This was how long in the making? And we just couldn't get the writing together. The look was there. The atmosphere was there. Everything else was there. The plot was dry. The storyline was dry. 1995, we knew what they was doing, what they was coming to do. We showed up for the tournament. We was fighting, killed, on the knee. We was there. It was done. We knew what was happening. We was following. Here, the whole arc with Cole and try to make him our main character, you can't just, if you're going to introduce somebody new, you have to really get us invested in them and to care about, like, oh, this is a bad motherfucker right here. We got something to look forward to. It took him so long to, find himself and all of this. Hell, it took Kano 5 minutes. They pissed him off and, oh, laser beams. Oh, fuck off, pussy. Yeah. I was here for all of that. Kano, kudos to Kano. That just lets you know what his franchise was. Kudos to Kano for giving us something. Kudos to Kano. Kudos to Liu Kang. And kudos to Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Because without them, we would have had absolutely nothing. But we end with the plot of, him I'm no longer doing these $200 ass fight. And I'm going to Hollywood. Which, to leave us open for him going to find Johnny. Oh, and Sonya got her powers, y'all. Sonya got hers, courtesy of killing Kano. I was like, damn, we lost Kano. We lost Kano who was giving us something. We lost Kano. Okay. But she got her situations. Yeah, y'all, we're gonna leave off with that and get into the plot too of them going to find Johnny. And I'm guessing with Cole being adopted this whole time and being in foster care that his mother is the baby. Right? But you guys, that was my review for Mortal Kombat. You see, I was so mad when they waited to the end and hit the if y'all would have played that throughout the film, I could have got a little bit, I would have just got hyped just on GP from you playing it. You know what I'm saying? But they saved it to the end like they was doing something like this movie did not give me what I needed. Would I watch it again? Probably not. Do I recommend you watch it? If you want to watch for the look and just based off just the Scorpion and Sub-Zero scenario, sure, you could watch it. Don't expect too much. It's not here. It was never here. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please drop down so we can get into the conversation. Please drop down and try to argue with me and tell me that this shit was lit, because it wasn't. It wasn't. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.